So welcome to Breakfast at Tiffany's. If it is your first time, you are in for a treat. We love to gather each month with women of power, of purpose, of intentionality, so that we can just gather and hear one another's stories, so that we can just confide sometimes in each other, some of our fears, some of our hopes, our dreams, but so that we can advance in our purpose. So the Breakfast at Tiffany's monthly webinar is brought to you by the Esther Project, which is a women's empowerment movement that's aimed to get women to discover their purpose, to build their leadership skills, and to launch their purpose into the world. It's also brought to you by the Upper Room Church, a wonderful Christian community of believers in Edison, New Jersey, led by my parents, Reverend Bruce Williams and Reverend Phyllis Williams, and I'm the pastor of outreach and evangelism there, as well as the founder and director of the Esther Project. I don't do these conversations alone. I am joined each month by some empowered, amazing women. So this month, we have some guest co-hosts and some of our regulars. Sarah Pena won't join us this month, but we have Salon Booth Grooms. Good morning, Salon. Do you want to welcome everyone and introduce your guest co-host?
Yes, good morning, everyone. And I would love to introduce my beautiful guest co-host, my lovely daughter, Milan Grooms. Hi.
Hello, Milan, and welcome to Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Thank you.
And this past year, we've had a guest co-host, Vidi Madan. She's not really a guest anymore. She's really a part of our regular team now. So Vidi, we love you. We welcome you back again. And would you like to introduce your guest co-host today?
Yes, I would love to. This is my beautiful guest co-host, also my inspiration, my mom, Chitra Ramadan.
Well, welcome, Mom. And Vidi is the founder of Her Life Matters Too. She's a high school junior in East Brunswick, New Jersey, but she has been running her own organization for a few years now. This is a global girls empowerment organization. Salon Booth Grooms is a makeup artist and beauty blogger and lifestyle blogger. And last but not least, our co-host for today, none other than my mother, because this is mother-daughter edition today. So I am really blessed to have once again by my side, as always, the ever beautiful Pastor Phyllis Williams. She's the executive pastor of the Upper Room Church and also the chief operating officer for the Esther Project. And she is just all things mom to all women who need a spiritual mom. Good morning, Mom.
Good morning, everyone. So happy to be here on this occasion, loving the mother-daughter pairs in the squares today. God bless and welcome, everyone.
Yes. Well, loving your background too. Those flowers are beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Well, we're getting ready for our monthly breakfast tip. So on Breakfast at Tiffany's, we not only have conversations with women who are living with passion and purpose, we talk about breakfast. It wouldn't be Breakfast at Tiffany's without talking about breakfast. So we think that breakfast is a wonderful way to establish a tradition of connecting with your sister, with your mother, with just another woman in your life that you love and want to connect with. So we give you some tips also to how to make your breakfast connection time even more meaningful with that sister queen. So Salon Booth Grooms, would you do us the honor?
Absolutely. So, of course, it is Breakfast at Tiffany, so we have to have breakfast. And I made breakfast this morning, and what I created for my little Milan is her brioche French toast. It's made with brioche bread. So, and do you like it?
Yeah, it's really, really good.
And to make it special, though it's simple, I added a little unicorn napkin with her unicorn plate just to make it look really cute. She has some syrup on the side. And also we have what I like to call a carousel of fresh fruit. There's always fresh fruit around in our house so that we can snack on it. And what better time to have fresh fruit than breakfast?
Wow, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I was so hoping that you would do French toast. Now, we did not talk about what tip you would be giving today, but I love French toast and I was hoping that you would do a French toast. I love brioche French toast, love the fruit as well. So this is absolutely, absolutely amazing. So, do you also have a self-care tip for us today, Salon? Because you are our queen of health as well.
Thank you. Absolutely, I do. Of course, like Reverend Tiffany said, I'm a beauty blogger. And one of the things I like to do is make sure that I'm taking care of myself from the inside out, but also incorporating everything in my arsenal to make sure that I'm living the best life possible. And that is relying on my senses. And today we're going to talk about this, the sense of smell and how that relates to self-care. You ever smell like roses or something and you just instantly become happy? That's really, really important, like aromatherapy and making sure you're burning nice candles, keeping a beautiful, clean home. All those things stimulate your sense of smell that puts you in a better mood. And that is a self-care tip. So I ask all of you to find a signature scent. You don't have to have it for the full year. You can change it throughout the years, what I really mean to say, and wear that signature scent that makes you feel powerful and beautiful. My signature scent today is, and this will be my signature scent for the summer, is Tiffany from Tiffany and Co. Yes,
Yes.
I love this scent. It is light and beautiful and classy and classic. And every time I put it on, I feel like a powerful super force. So incorporate your sense of smell and your beauty arsenal. Make sure you have great smells all around you and get that signature scent, whatever your signature scent may be, and make yourself feel better as you're looking better.
Amazing. I was wearing that scent last week, by the way. It is not my signature scent, but I do like it, and it's becoming a signature scent. I also went old school for the past month. I like Juicy Couture. I just think it has such a sweet, 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 good everyday scent. So, Vidi, do you wear perfume? What's your perfume that you like to wear?
Recently I got like a Nicki Minaj like fragrance thing that I'm obsessed with, and I've just been like wearing that. I really like it.
Ah, Milan, what about you? I want to hear what the young girls are doing here with perfume, signature scent.
I mean, I'm like in love with the Ariana Grande Cloud perfume. That smells so good. And that's kind of like the Nicki Minaj one. That's why I smile because I love that one too. So that's just really cool. Yeah, I like them both.
Amazing. And moms, what are your signature scents? Mom and Mom Chitra, what are your scents these days?
I am I by the day I'll change, but for the summer I've decided there's a fragrance that I got years ago, hooked on in Aruba. It's called seashells or something, but it's in a cute bottle that's shaped like a starfish, and it has an oil base. So that's my go-to for the summer.
Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'm going to keep calling you Mom Teacher because this is mother-daughter edition today.
Sure, and this is amazing. Thanks for having me. I am really, really in love with Creed, and there is a specific scent that they have, which is a merger of jasmine and rose, and I'm into flowers big time. So that has been my favorite scent all year long, and I'm excited to wear that during summer as well.
That's amazing. It sounds like it smells so good. I'm going to check it out too. So it reminds me also of Joe Malone. So one of my favorite scents is Joe Malone because they have so many different natural, beautiful, floral and woodsy sort of scents. And it's great, great, great. I like sea salt and I think it's sage. Or wood sage or something with wood in it and sea salt. It's amazing, amazing, amazing. So let me greet some of our ladies here before we get to our conversation. Hey, Marquita, how are you today? Jan Field, I see my sister-in-law, Nydia Rodriguez Williams, and I see that Belize is in the house. Let me tell you, Breakfast at Tiffany's family, we join from far and wide. This is a global sisterhood, and this is a conversation and a breakfast talk. Where else can you have breakfast every month with women from Nigeria, from Uganda, from Belize, from all throughout the United States, San Diego, Los Angeles in the house, New Jersey, New York, and points in between. So we welcome you all. I see you, Sandra from Belize. Amy, thank you for that compliment. Looking lovely this morning, sisters. Yay. We love affirmations too. And I see Nicole Phillips in the house. I have to brag on her for a moment because, you know, what would this be, breakfast, without having superstars among us? Well, for those of you that may live in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, Nicole's name may not be a stranger to you, because when you went to vote in the primary on Tuesday, you may have seen her name unopposed on the ballot to be the next judge in the Court of Common Pleas in Montgomery County. So we congratulate you for this leg of your journey, Nicole Phillips, for winning that primary and unopposed. So we know we're just waiting for the general election for it to be official. But future Judge Phillips, we are proud of you. You are a queen. Carlene Sanchez, I see you. Mimi Jean-Charles, hello, I see you as well. I see my upper room women in the house. Sue Wood, how are you? Tony Forbes, thanks for joining us as well. We just love you today. I hope you feel loved and appreciated. We're going to talk about mother-daughter relationships today. Now, let's keep it real, because we do real talk and real strategies on Breakfast at Tiffany's. Is there anything that can be more beautiful and more contentious sometimes, right, than a mother-daughter relationship? Salon, can I get an amen? We talk about this. We keeping it real today.
Amen. Yes.
We do. And we have a multi-generational conversation going on, right? So we're all daughters. We're all daughters. We're not all mothers, but we all have one. So this is something that impacts every woman. And so we wanted to take the opportunity today to bring some empowerment and, first of all, appreciation. Happy belated Mother's Day to all the mothers in the house. Motherhood is a treasure. And so we appreciate you. And we know that it's not an easy job, and you don't always get appreciated as you deserve. So today's conversation is also to celebrate you, to celebrate motherhood. And motherhood is something that's worthy to be desired and worthy to be cultivated and nurtured and appreciated in this life. And so we want to have a conversation today to strengthen the bonds of mothers and daughters, to also inspire some future mothers, and to also bring some healing to those who may have lost their mom. So I have several friends that have lost their moms. My mom has lost her mom, in the past 15, 20 years, and it's not easy. So we hope that this conversation also will bring some healing to those of you that may be struggling a little bit with no longer having your mom around. What we hope this will do will inspire you also to form that mother-daughter relationship with another woman in your life. So I'm not a biological mom, but I am a spiritual mom to many, a mentor, a friend to others. So I am very, very, very excited to have this conversation. So let me first ask, I didn't tell my panelists in advance I was going to ask this, but I just want to know, what does motherhood mean to you, to our moms in the house? My mom, Salon, and Mom Chitra, anyone, you want to just jump in? What does motherhood mean to you?
Motherhood is so wonderful. I have always been meant to be a mom. I used to dream about it when I was younger. I would write down what my kids' names were going to be, even though there are none of those names, but I would write that stuff down. And there is something about being responsible for human beings that are going to be contributors to society, and what that does for your heart. And also, to me, reminds me of God's love for us, because you have an unconditional love for your child and you're willing to help and forgive and be the blanket and do everything you can to make sure that their road during life is a great and successful one. And that's what God is to us. So I love that part of motherhood, just having that bond with my kids and seeing life through their eyes.
I absolutely second Salon. That is amazing. It's a blessing. I think it's the best thing that has ever happened to me in my life. Being a mother to my children, it is an amazing bond. It just makes you feel so special, and you feel so blessed and so empowered to be able to impact a human being's life. And I completely agree with you, Salon. It's an absolute blessing.
Yes, I concur with these two wonderful mothers today. It is something that you cannot explain. It is an honor, it's a privilege, because the Bible speaks of that children are a heritage from God. So it's an awesome responsibility. And sometimes if you get caught up on that, you'll go, oh my God, I can't do this. But if you keep remembering that you were chosen by God to be a mother, so he didn't make a mistake, it is just the most miraculous thing ever. And it's unexplained, as I said, and you can't find the instructions in a book. I can remember becoming a mother for the first time. I had no clue as to what I would do or how, just how to be a mom. But the moment that they hand you that child and say, meet your son or your daughter, something just supernaturally happens, and you know how to care for them and nurture them. We're not perfect, but it is an honor. I do it all over again. I love it. I love it. I love it. And it never ends. Thanks.
It never ends. She's talking about me. It never ends. No. So let me ask the daughters. Let me ask you, Milan and Vidi, what does it mean to be a daughter? What
I
do you
mean,
daughter?
it's so amazing being a daughter because it's somebody who I can always look up to. And I just love having my mom always there for me no matter what, because literally if I'm just having a really bad day, I may have an attitude, she just does not get mad and she's just really happy all the time. So I really do appreciate that. And I just love being a daughter. It's really magical. I love it.
I also like being a daughter, but I see my mom more as like a sister and like a friend instead of like a mom, because like she had me when she was pretty young too. So I like how I can have someone to like confide in, and like we can always like talk about anything, and like without like judgment, which I think is super important, and like being able to like understand each other. So I'm really like blessed to have my mom.
Oh. Oh, and I want to start the conversation with the two of you. You're such a beautiful, beautiful, just looking example of mother and daughterhood. Now, I know you both. Aviti is, an intern with the Esther Project. She is the founder of her own organization. She is amazing. I see you, just being this empowered girl. And then I met your mom. And I see that she is recognized by Forbes magazine as a top female wealth advisor in the nation. She works for JP Morgan Wealth Management as a private client advisor. And she helps her clients and families plan to reach their financial goals. And she has nearly 14 years of experience in financial services. So I see where you get it from, Vidi, right? You get it from your mama, as the song even says, right? So I want to start with the two of you and ask, what is your story about what makes your mother-daughter relationship so successful?
First and foremost, thank you so much for having us. Because Tiffany, we can be awarded for all the work we do outside of the house, and things that we do. We can make money, we can get awards, we can get recognition. But when it comes to being a mother, you never know if you're doing it right. You never know if there is more opportunity for us to be better, and what would be the best for our children. So this is very empowering. Just giving each other a shout out and saying, hey, you're doing it right. This is an amazing feeling. So thank you so much for having me. My story with my children, so Vidi and her twin brother, uh, I have to share it. Actually, the bond clicked right when I saw the first image of them. That was the ultrasound picture I saw when the doctors told us that we were going to have twins. Me and my husband are both young parents. So we were, overwhelmed. We were like not sure having twins, what is going to be like. We are first generation immigrants, so we didn't have much family around. So it was something that, did, scare us a little bit as well, because we wanted to be good parents as well. But just looking at that first image of my children, gave me a great sense of bond and love. And I looked at that and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is like heaven, as I can see. Growing up, and having my children, my experience when I was in college, I was also working as a part-time kindergarten teacher, and I was working with children that were 3, 4, 5 years of age group, and I was teaching them computers. uh, so I did have an experience with working with children, and having these two was my little own kindergarten in the house. I wasn't working outside of the house. So I did have a lot of time in hand, and I was able to share a lot of time with them as well. And that strengthened our bond further. We are very big on having an open communication. There is no secret in my house and in my family. So we talk to each other, we tell each other about our strengths and opportunities, and that grew further as well, because all four of us all of a sudden became a family. From a couple, we turned into a family, and we did spend a lot of time together. One of the best things about being Vidhi's mom in particular is because I never had a sister growing up. I had an older brother, so having her around fills in that vacuum. She is more of a sibling than just being my baby girl. And we are very similar in terms of our personalities, and yet we both respect each other for being separate individuals. So that is the secret. We are both very upfront, very transparent, very honest, and that is the reason for our successful bond.
You mentioned something. You said she's kind of more like a sibling sometimes than just being a baby girl. That can be a dynamic that certainly happens with mothers and daughters. And I wanted to ask, since you brought it up, and I want to hear this from the other moms too. How do you keep the balance, though, of still establishing the boundaries and the authority, right, of being the mother ultimately, yet sometimes having this wonderful dynamic of sisterhood?
So as it goes back, Tiffany, the open communication has really been a strength of our relationship. So when it comes to me telling Vidhi that there are things that I don't think will necessarily be in the best interest of her, I have reasons to back it up, and I give her examples, and give shared ideas, and say this is why I think this may not be the best one. I am not a super authoritative mom. I'm more of a communicative kind of a person. And I also tell them that, if you disagree with what I have told you or the way I have structured things in front of you, I want you to experience what you want to experience. And if you ever fail, or if you ever feel that, oh, I should have listened to her and I shouldn't have done that, that's an experience you have gained. And we can talk about that as well. So that sisterhood, continues, because we do talk about things, and that just makes it easier.
And let me pick up on that too, teacher. So is that how you were raised?
Yes, that's absolutely how I was raised. My mother was a homemaker. She was not a person that would speak very fluent English, but she had shared an amazing bond with me. We were very well connected. This was 40 years ago. So she did not raise me with a very stereotype behavior, and especially being raised in India, she did not raise me to be a person that needs to learn this because one day you're going to go do this. She was all about, hey, tell me what happened in school, narrate to me, let's do storytelling, let's do the elocutions, let's speak, you be the in charge, you explain to me, so you make sure I understand, and things of that nature. So yes, I did have a very open and very communicative bond with my mother, and that just makes my bond with Vidhi a lot easier, because it's just my second nature.
and you're just passing on, what you were taught and what was nurtured in you. So does that explain how you raised such an empowered daughter? I mean, look at Vidi. She has traveled across the world to present. She just regularly mobilizes people through this nonprofit that she started, that she didn't just start as a junior, she started a few years ago. So what is it that I guess causes you to be able to raise such an empowered daughter, especially for moms that are really looking for the right path to inspire their daughters?
Absolutely, Tiffany. So I have to share, I was nowhere close to what Vidhi is when I was this age. So I feel so blessed and I feel so honored to have a child that is, so, I would say, loving, caring, affectionate. This is just her. So, if I were to describe Vidhi in two words, me and my husband would agree, and he's on this call as well. She is God's blessing to us. And what we realized, raising her, and especially, being so close to her, she is a beautiful human being. She's beautiful both outside and inside. And there were a couple of things that we noticed about her. So I remember, I can share some of my experiences that I clearly have in my memory. I remember while growing up, Vidi was the more outgoing twin, and she would talk and she would express herself, whereas her brother was a more introvert and a more shy twin. And one day we were at a birthday party, and the children were doing the piñata, and then she's in between the circle and being the leader and trying to do things. And then she realizes that her brother is outside the circle standing alone. So she just didn't do what she wanted to do for herself. She came outside, she held her brother's hand, she went inside, and she said, "Excuse me, my brother didn't get the bag." So she not only took care of herself, but she remembered to take care of her brother, which touched my heart. And I was like, oh my God, at age 2, do you really think about your sibling? One of the things that also resonated a lot with her personality, that while growing up, was one day she was visiting New York City, and I had given her some cash to eat. She was going out with some other parents. We couldn't go, but she wanted to be in that trip, so we let her go. And she came back home, and she was like, "Mom, I'm so hungry." And I said, "Well, you didn't eat?" And she goes, "No." And I said, "Why? I gave you the money. Why didn't you buy something?" And she goes, "Mom, I saw a homeless man, and I just felt that this money was more important to him. So I said, did you give all of it? You should have kept something for yourself and shared some." And she said, "No, Mom, I just thought about this person. He was homeless. He hadn't eaten for days. And I just felt I could stay hungry for one day, but I have to share this." So that just touched. And I was like, oh my God, at age 5, 6, do you really think it like that? And then one of the things, we had signed her up for Hindi school. We wanted her to learn our Indian language as well. And she had learned a poem. She was going to be on stage performing for that school. And she was going to talk about how to conserve water and how important water is for our Mother Earth, etc. So then I went for a parents teachers conference at school, and her teacher said to me, he said actually, so he said, Viri, narrated the whole poem to us. And she knew that the class wouldn't understand the language she was speaking to, but she was so expressive and she was so communicative that all of us got the message about how we all should conserve water. So that's when I realized that she's such an expressive person that she wouldn't really care about, if someone is understanding, if somebody is judging me, etc. And then her life matters too started a couple of years ago, but I'm very happy and excited to share, when she was 6 years old, she would actually go to the park with her couple of friends, and she would sell lemonade, and she would collect some dimes and quarters, and she would collect $30-40 during the summer. And she would take that money whenever we travel to India. She would buy bread for street dogs in India, and she would feed them, and she called it Climb Up to Charity. And one of the things that I told her while she was feeding the street dogs, I said, Vidi, can you wear gloves? These dogs may have fleas and ticks, they were on the streets. And she's like, Mom, they need human touch. I cannot not touch them. So a lot of things I noticed while she was growing up, and the kind of a person she was shaping up to be. And I knew this was her biggest strength, and I supported the idea when she wanted to have her own organization and she wanted to support the girls around the globe, and I supported her 100%.
And I'm hearing some themes here. First of all, you have an exceptional daughter. Second, you paid attention to your daughter. You spent time with her and you observed, the why behind her actions and sought to really get into, her own motivation, even if you thought differently about it. I want to come back after we hear from some other mother daughters to talk about um, uh, any tensions that have come up in mother daughter relationships and how these mothers and daughters have navigated that. But I want to get to your daughter for a moment, this extraordinary humanitarian since she was like 2 years old. Love these stories. So, how would you describe your mom, Beatty?
I would definitely describe her as like a really inspirational and like powerful independent woman. Not only at home but also like at work. She's a leader. She's the vice president of investments at work, and seeing her like start from being like a teller like 15 years ago and like building her way up to like where she is now is super inspirational to like me, because I was always raised like, oh, like to be like independent and like financially independent and just like be strong in that sense. So seeing her like do all of this is kind of like installed in me, like, oh, like I have to do this now too. And I'm lucky to have a role model like her, because I've just learned so much throughout the years, and I continue to learn more each and every day.
Viti, do you ever feel pressure at having such a fabulous mom? Because I do. We didn't get to me yet, but I feel pressure sometimes, right? Having a fabulous mom. Do you ever feel that pressure? And if so, how do you deal with it?
Yeah, sometimes I do feel like a lot of pressure, because it's like, oh, like some people are always like, oh, like your mom's so successful, like you're next in line, like you gotta like match up to that, and I'm just like, oh, like I don't know if I can, and I'm like, so sometimes I do feel pressure, but she's always supports me. She's like, oh, you're gonna be amazing, you're gonna do great in life, don't worry about it. So like she kind of like reassures me that, oh, like you're gonna kill it, so don't worry about it, and that honestly makes me feel a lot better.
How do you keep this open communication that even your mom says that she cultivates in you without feeling like at some point she's going to flip it on you, right? And be mom, and like maybe your revelations of your open communication is actually going to get you in trouble.
I'm not gonna lie, that has happened a few times. I've told her something, and it's like when she's upset or she's mad, like and her mom role comes out, it's come back to haunt me. But I think it's okay, because like in the like I also do need, like, as much as it is like nice to have like a young mom who's like a sister, I do think it's important that I also have like a mom that's like like keeping me in check and like making sure that I'm doing like the right thing and doing what's best for me in my future. So even though it might seem like kind of annoying at the time when I'm getting yelled at, in the long run, it's actually a lot better because I'd rather her, like, if no one else, I feel like no one else in the world is gonna tell me like what I'm doing is like not right, or is wrong, and like if it's not gonna be her. So I'm grateful to have like the advice and like all of that from her.
Awesome. And what advice do you have, Viti, for girls who may be struggling a little bit right now, in their relationship with their mom? You're a teenager. This is the critical year sometimes that, girls are establishing themselves and their independence, and there may be a little tension. So what advice do you have for girls who may be struggling with their relationship with their moms?
I would say for girls to spend more time with their moms, like maybe just like do something chill, just kind of have like a day just for them to kind of just like talk about things. And for me, I think that like people that have like moms, and like if they don't have a good relationship with their moms that they think that they can work on, like a mom is anyone who's like raised like a child, even if it's like not their biological child, but like stepmoms, or like even like any mother figure like grandmas or aunts or anyone like that. So I feel like that's super important in knowing that like a mom can be like any one of those like important figures, and just kind of like spend more time with them and like kind of understand both perspectives, instead of just like, oh, like assuming that one person is right and like the other person's wrong. Just kind of, because mindsets are going to be different. So I think it's important to like know and understand like boundaries and like different like ways of thinking and all that.
Great. Any quick advice for moms from a daughter's perspective? Where
I
there's
think
tension?
it is important to share. It's important to understand. It's important to put yourself in the shoes of your teenage child. It's so important. We can say one thing, but try to remember how we were when we were at that age, and that brings in the whole idea of understanding your child. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to go wrong, and we are there with our unconditional love and support, to support them and respect them and allow them to be themselves. They're going to be a separate human being, and they're supposed to be doing separate things.
Awesome. So we're going to come back to hear you also talk about navigating any tensions and difficult, experiences that have come up too. But I want to turn to Salon and Milan for a moment. And Salon and Milan, what makes your relationship so wonderful? Do you want to start, Salon?
Yes, first of all, I am so happy that we're having this discussion. I think it's so important because the mother-daughter dynamic is a very special one, but like you said, it also can be a difficult one to navigate. But what makes our bond so special is that I had 3 boys before her. And so I always thought I was a boy mom. And then when I got my girl, I was like, ah, yes, I got the girl that, I'm going to do this with and that with, and I'm going to put her in this and that. And then as she got older, I saw that, oh, she has a mind of her own. And I love that about her. I love spending time with her. She can make me laugh like nobody else in the world. She's so funny. And we just have a very, very good time together. And she listens. And when I say she listens, not to everything I say, but she is open to hearing things, but also she knows how to stand her ground too. So I just really, really enjoy her company, and I enjoy being around her.
I loved being around my mom because I don't know, I feel like all of my friends are amazing, but whenever I get to talk to my mom, it's just different because she'll always like get my jokes. Sometimes my friends don't get my sense of humor, but she does. And we'll just be laughing so hard because joking is my favorite thing ever. Like I just love talking about jokes. So it's really amazing having somebody who I can just joke around with, and she'll always get it. And then she puts her own jokes in, which sometimes are not as funny as mine. But really funny, so
Fake news.
So that and I've known Salon for a long time, so I have to defend her, Milan, and say she's very funny. She's very funny.
Thank you.
Yes. I get her. So Salon, Milan has followed in your footsteps in competing in pageants. So you and I met in pageants in the Miss America system back in the day, and you went on to just be a multiple title holder in the Mrs. Pageant system. And you see Milan now following in your footsteps. So what's it like supporting her in those endeavors, and where do you see that she's unique in her approach or goals from your experience?
First of all, it's nerve-wracking. Watching your child compete is like every single time she's in a pageant, I say to myself, why did I sign her up for this? Why? But what I love about her and where she is unique is she is herself through and through. And she even says to me, Mom, it's not the end of the world. It's just a pageant. I'm here. I'm going to showcase who I am. She writes her own paperwork. Even when she was little and could not type the paperwork, I would ask her the questions that was being put on the paperwork. She kills interview every single time because she is just who she is through and through. And she's extremely well spoken and articulate. So she gets her points across, and because she's writing her own stuff and doing it the way she's supposed to do it, when she's in that judge's room, she knows what to say because she's the one who wrote it. And I just love to see her shine on stage, and she just shines when she's on stage. It's amazing.
And so what were your hopes and dreams for Milan, and how do you help to cultivate that in, empowering her every day?
My hopes and dreams is that she just lives up to her full potential, whatever that is, whatever she wants to do, that she just goes for it full force. And how I cultivate that is we constantly talk about what is it that she wants to do when she grows up, what is it that she wants to do now, how she's very, very active in charities, and she started her own little mini charity called Give a Toy, Get a Smile, that she started when she was around 8 or 9. Yeah, because she loves toys at that time, and still I think she loves toys, but she really used to love them. And she said, I wish every child had the opportunity to feel the way I do about toys. So we would take her, and this was all her idea, her gently used or new toys that we would get and give them to kids in underserved communities. So when I saw that part of her and just how she's such a giving person, it just makes me so much more want to see her spread her wings and fly. And I try to be that person that is the wind beneath those wings.
Wow. And so, what are some of the challenges that you and Milan have overcome, and kind of what's the secret to not damaging your relationship in that process?
The challenges is that she's extremely headstrong. And when I grew up, it was do as I say, not as I do. Do what I say, don't talk back. What I say goes. And she has taught me that, well, I am also a individual and I may have my own thoughts. And if it's something that is not to her detriment, I have to be open to it. Like when I think she was like 4 years old when I had to really stop just putting anything on her. She wanted to pick out her own clothes, and sometimes it would look crazy, but I started to let her do that and to have her own style and to be her own person. And I see by me doing that, then she is she's so self-confident. And that is one of the main things that people tell me about her. They're like, I love her confidence. She just does not care. If I say, oh, well, that looks a little, people might say something if you wear that. And she looks at me like, I know you didn't tell me what other people have to say. It is how she wants to present herself, and that's what she's going to do. I love that confidence about her.
And so, Salon, you talked about kind of the mothering style that you were subject to, and that you had to make some shifts. How are you able as a mom to navigate confronting that maybe the way you were raised is not the parenting style that your daughter is most responsive to? Because I think I see sometimes a lot of moms get stuck. Well, because we're talking about tension a little bit now, right? Moms sometimes get stuck because they don't know how to shift. How did you make that shift? And what advice do you have for moms that may be stuck?
You just have to. You also have to know what is best for your child and for your relationship. And the goal is that, as Vivi's mom spoke about, you want your child to come to you with everything. You don't want there to be secrets. So shock value has to go out the window. Like, I cannot be shocked at anything that she's going to come tell me. I have to be her safe place. And growing up, my generation, I feel we did not always have that, because parents were just the parents. It's what I say goes, and that's it. And sometimes, and I think a lot of us can say that sometimes was not the best thing, because then we start looking for advice in the wrong places. We start getting wrong advice. So I had to really look deep within myself and say, what do I want from her, and what do I want our relationship to be? And that's going to be some shifting on my part, because she's the child. So I have to shift my thought process and how I was raised, even though my mom did so many things right, but there was a lot of things that were done that just were not to my benefit. And it wasn't because my mother wasn't a good mother, is that's how she was raised. So she was doing what she was taught. Sometimes we have to break those generational curses and those generational chains and start anew and start raising kids who are going to put their best foot forward, who are going to feel comfortable with themselves, who are going to be confident, and who are going to be ready to rule the world.
Wow. And I hear some similar themes of just, moms being open and confident enough to listen to your daughter as well, and let your daughter teach you a little bit as to how to parent her. So Milan, how do you keep your individuality? Because that's what we've been talking about, right? That you are your own woman. How do you keep that?
Well, I just know that there's only one of me in the whole world, and there's no one else who's exactly like me or pretty much even remotely like me. So I really do take that to heart. And sometimes it gets to me a lot, and I start to think, oh, I'm the best. But I need to remember, like, everybody around me is amazing. And I know that because my mom is amazing, and she's the reason why I'm like this, because I always look up to her, and she's her own person, and she does all these amazing things with her pageants. And this, for example, I really think it's amazing how she does things like this, and I gotta give it to her. She's always open to listening to me, even if I say craziness or I'm always talking about something that's like not even remotely similar to something that we would usually talk about. So I do really like that she's always there for me and she can always listen, and that's just the main reason why I just think I'm just my own person and I can do this and I can make it in the world.
So I was going to ask you what inspires you about your mom, and you kind of answered it. So I'll ask you, how would you describe your mom?
I mean, I couldn't even put it into words how much she's just really, she's the best influence I could have in my whole life. And I'm just so happy that she's here for me because she's just amazing and she's so funny. Like, even before I said, I think my jokes are funnier, but now thinking of it, I don't know. She's really funny. And I do just love being around her. It's amazing energy. I just love it so much. And she's just taught me so many things I'll always remember for the rest of my life. So I'm just so happy to call her my mother and my best friend. It's amazing.
And how do you keep those lines, Milan? I asked Vidi, like, how do you balance your mom kind of being your friend with, the fear that what you're going to tell her is going to get you in trouble?
Well, I know that there's always going to be that boundary, and she's always going to need to put me in my place if I'm doing something wrong. And I do agree with that. Like, I think that's the right thing to do. Like, if I'm doing something wrong, I would really like to know so I don't do it again. Because I just want to be the best me possible. Because I just feel like it's really important that you can always be open to other people, and you always have to know that other people do get affected by the things that you do. And she's really taught me that. So I really do appreciate that. And she's just such a great friend to me because it's literally like talking to a friend, talking to her. And the way the things she tells me, it's like she won't ever get just like really, really, really mad at me. And she'll never make me feel like, oh, I really, really did something wrong. But she tells me things in a way that I know, oh, I did this wrong and I'm not going to do it again because it's hurting other people around me or it's hurting myself. So I do appreciate her being there for me and telling me things.
Awesome. Another beautiful relationship. Before we shift to hearing from my mom, who Solana is going to ask a few questions, teacher, let me go back to you. How do you navigate any difficult situations with Vidi in your relationship? What advice do you have for moms?
So as Salon said, I faced the same challenge. Vidi and I both have very strong personalities. We have strong opinions. We do have disagreements sometimes on certain, issues and matters and topics, but it's very easy to navigate that by talking it through. Would you agree that we always have talked about, things that were not in agreement with each other, and we didn't have a very long conversation about it? Did you agree that, we were able to resolve those issues within a couple of minutes, because we were able to both express to each other how, we felt about certain things. And it is so important to listen in every relationship, and especially being a mother, it is so important to listen to your child, and understand what your child is trying to explain to you or express to you, and put yourself in those shoes, and then think wisely, and be more patient, and be more responsible with that.
Awesome. Awesome. So, Alon, let's move to the last mother-daughter pairing here. Me and my mom. And Vidi is going to ask me some questions too. But I want to remind all of our guests that you are free to ask questions in the Q&A box, and we'll take your questions as well.
Okay, so I'm going to ask Mom Phyllis first, right? Okay, good. So at this moment, Milan is going to go because she has to study for a final. So
That's beautiful.
I really enjoyed it and I really love seeing these mother-daughter relationships. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Milan. We'll see
Thank
you
you.
again as a guest host.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay, so let's get to it now. Let me just say this as before I begin. Co-pastor Phyllis has been like a mom to me too. I met Tiffany at pageants, like you said, a long time ago, and a lot of times my family could not be there, so they kind of adopted me and would cheer for me and stuff like that. So, and she's also a mom that I really, really look up to and try to model my mom behavior after. So I love you, Co-Pastor Phyllis, and here we go. Now, my first question to you is, how would you describe Reverend Tiffany?
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, I just love what I've heard so far, and you guys are really inspiring me. This is so hard. I was sitting here and I'm like, how can I do this? You guys don't have enough time. Let me give you a shorter version of it. She's my heartbeat. She's essential. She's my best friend. She's just a hardworking, beautiful, inside and out person. She's not content until everyone has what they need. She attacks areas that many would older than her or younger than her or have the capacity to be more effective but won't do it. But she will speak up, she will speak up, she will speak out, she stands out. And one thing that I love about her is her consistency, her tenacity, and her passion, as you know, on this call for women and for women to be treated equally and for women to be respected. I mean, she's passionate about women's equality. She tackles intersectionality, which people, will not touch that, but she just comes to life on the issues of others when she finds that others are not being treated or respected, and particularly women and girls. She's authentic. She's fun. She's a soldier. She's a fighter. She never gives up. She just keeps on going like that bunny, that Energizer bunny. And she's, as I said, she's beautiful inside out, and she's a modern day Esther. So if you want to know the essence of Tiffany, read the story of Esther.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I totally agree. The words that stick out to me are compassion, fighter, soldier. She has a heart. She is just someone who, like you said, you're around her and she makes you want to level up. And I know, Mom, that a lot of that has to do with you because that's you. So I love that. So, what was it like raising her, and what is the key to motivating and supporting her?
Raising Tiffany, our first child, was she was easy. She was very compliant. She was very quiet, but she was attentive. She loved reading. She still loves books to this day. I think, and she would light up the room as well as she commands the room today. She did it when she was even a toddler. She was one of those children that people did not mind babysitting. As I said, she was just very easygoing. She has always been interested in, really being outside of the box. She was not shy. She skipped right through. She tested from kindergarten into first grade. So she never went to kindergarten. So she's always been about, education from even an early age. And we always motivated her, encouraged her, tried to live a standard for her to model, expose her to other families with like-mindedness, and for her to latch on to friends that were like-minded. And we think that she did a great job with that. Even till today, I'm very pleased with her friends and those who are in her circles. We stressed and we balanced. My husband and I coined the 3 A's of child rearing, stressing academics, athletics, and activities, and keeping those in balance, keeping her not so much tilted to one and the other, was, I believe, the key and effective for her to just allow her mind to explode. So we weren't perfect parents, and we disciplined her, even though she was just never gotten into trouble as a child. But trying to just keep her in balance, and always affirming her, as long as she did her best. And that was our motto with our children: do your best and don't worry about anything else. Push through, whether it's an A or anything less. you were rewarded, you were affirmed. Children have to know that they feel safe and feel that encouragement coming from their parents and not look for the outs from someone outside. So we tried to give her all of that on the inside so that she was not lacking and found it in the wrong places.
I think what you say is so true. Children have to come to a place where they feel safe. That is where confidence is birthed. If they feel safe around their parents, they're going to trust their judgment. They won't be led so easily by outside influence. And I think that's
Right.
really important. So I love that you said that. Also love the 3 A's: academics, athletics, and activities. That's really, really good and a great thing to think about when you're rearing your kids, because each one of those things could serve them so well in the future. So I love it.
And I just want to say that you have to be involved as a parent in all three of those areas. You can't
Right.
drop them off at school and never go to parent teacher or go in. I was a class mom. I was all up in their business. And also with athletics, you can't just drop them off at practice and never go to their games or whatever it is. Even if it's the most boring sport or involvement. Same with activities. You know, who's in this club, who's doing this, who's going to be there. And Tiffany always had, you know, the background of the faith community too. And that's one of the things that is so important in her life, is that she has her faith, that strong faith base. And so when mom and dad, you know, she's undecided about what we share, that the path that she should take, she has God in her life to always
Absolutely.
go to for those. So that's
Absolutely.
important.
I
That's
love it.
comforting to a parent as well.
Yeah, I love that. Now, how do you navigate any relational difficulties as a mom of an adult daughter?
Oh, oh my goodness, that could look like a mountain that you could never climb with the accomplishments that Tiffany has already in her life. I mean, I never dreamed that she would have been where she is today, although I knew that she would, you know, we had birthed greatness, and provided the platform for her to just launch out. So not to overcome intimidation of my daughter's um, by resume, okay, if you would. And again, from what my parents have had instilled in me, that I respected myself. I knew that I was a good mom. I knew that I was also an imperfect mom, but I knew that we had given our best to our daughter. So when we have a disagreement, we either come away with agreeing or agreeing to disagree, and we move on. So it was a matter of learning to respect her and to know that she had more experience in areas than I have, and to trust her judgment and her, you know, sometimes when I'm like, well, I'm the mom, and, you know, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. And it's about my relationship with the Lord growing and wanting to be better, and to be that mom that he has entrusted me with my children, so that I was able to grow. You know, we would see eye to eye. When we didn't see eye to eye, sometimes it was like, okay, well, I can't talk to you right now. I'll talk to you later. But now it's like, okay, you know, I've learned to dial back when I need to, and when I felt like I shouldn't be, because after all, I'm the mom. But it's about growing and respecting
Yes.
each other.
Respect is a big one. I love that. Love, love, love.
And it doesn't come easy. I mean, this is the area that we're tested in.
Yeah.
Not only
Yeah,
as a, you know, our relationships with our daughters and our children, but in the workplace, in life.
Yes.
So it's about respecting, you know,
Yes.
giving
Well,
others a chance.
I have to say that I have learned a lot listening to my mom talk to Salon. So thank you so much. And mom, you are perfect. You're not imperfect. You're the perfect mommy. Love you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Salon. I know Vidi wanted to ask a few questions of me from the daughter's perspective, and we're going to get ready to wrap up too. And certainly if there are any questions you all have, we stay on for a few minutes for the afterflow as well. So feel free if you wanted to save it for then, but you're welcome to ask questions now too. But Vidi, you had a few questions for me.
Yeah, I did. Okay, so first question, Reverend Tiffany, how would you describe your mom?
Whoa, my mom is powerful. My mom is loving. My mom is fierce. I'm going to tell you guys, when I was little, like I think I was in first grade, there was a boy that was bullying me, and the school wasn't really doing much about it because his mom was friends like with the principal, and they were a very prominent family in the community. And my mom was like pretty protective of me, and she had come to like have lunch with me in school that day, and I was crying because this boy had been bullying me. And so my mom saw him in the hall and she just told him, like, you leave my daughter alone. Do you hear me? You better stop bothering her. And then she just kept on, her business. And we just, had our McDonald's there, at school at lunch. But I remember looking at her like, whoa, okay, yeah, that's, I guess, how we do it as a mom. But that describes my mom, right? She took matters in her own hands when she had to in order to protect her daughter. She showed strength, and she was not going to let, bullying can tear you down, can make you fear that you don't belong. So my mom has also, you haven't asked me this yet, Vidi, but I'll also just tell you what inspires me about my mom. She teaches me that I belong in any room, in any environment. So the faith tradition that we have, that she and my dad have led me in, teaches me that. But by demonstration, my mom teaches me not to shrink back, and that there is no place that I do not belong. And she inspires me to also learn, how do you conduct yourself in every space that you do, since you do belong there. And how do you honor other people who also belong there as well? So that's how I describe my mom and what inspires me about her too.
That's so sweet. And when you said like how your mom teaches you like how to belong, like that's extremely powerful. And I think you talked a lot about strength, so I feel like that's something you and your mom both have in common. You two are one of like two of the most strongest people I know, and you both are just so inspirational and just like a powerful like duo. So
And what I'd like to add is what you both inspire me, Tiffany and Pastor Williams, is that when daughters grow up, the relationship just keeps getting better. There's always like, okay, life didn't come your way. I'm sure you, and especially having a successful daughter and a successful mother as well. I'm so glad, and that's so inspiring. Thank you for sharing.
yeah.
Well, thank you.
My next question is, what advice do you have for adult daughters in navigating relationships with their moms as they become professionals, wives, and moms themselves?
Wow, I'll combine that with a question I also see in the Q&A, and anyone that wants to follow up with this, please feel free to jump in. But there's a question in the Q&A that says advice for moms with a child who does not open up and communicate well. So that could also include an adult child, right? So, and I do think there is the risk as your daughters grow up that they may become less communicative because they feel like they know it, right? They may be mothers or grandmothers, right, themselves. So I think the key is love, honor, and respect. Your mom may not have always done right by you. We have different experiences. I'm blessed. My mom always did right by me, but keeping it real, there may be times that we feel like we need to forgive our mom or think about what her shortcomings are, right? And her motivations, and is she doing the best, or did your mom just do the best she could in the moment? So I think the key to having just this continual open relationship, and to even navigating as a mom a child who may not communicate as much, For mom, show love, show and explain a little more why you do what you do, seek to understand. And as a daughter, do the same for your mom. Just show appreciation. Daughters, you owe your mother respect and appreciation. It does not matter what type of mom that you had, the fact that she chose, because it is a choice, as we know, to birth you and to give you life and an opportunity means that she deserves respect and honor, no matter what she may have perpetuated against you, even after she birthed you. There is just that basic level of respect that I think is the posture we should come from as adult daughters, continuing to have an open relationship with our moms and seeking to understand. But I believe that love covers all. So if you have a child, a daughter that is not opening up, you heard my mom say she gets all in the business, right? I do think mom should be in the business. I think that the way you're in the business does not always have to be so visible, right? So I would say first, I come from a spiritual foundation. Pray for your child that is not openly communicative, and ask the Lord to reveal things to you. When you look and watch, information comes to you. So seek to learn, is there some root, or what is the root of the lack of communication? Is it personality? Is there a mental health challenge going on? Is there some physical thing going on? Is there a hormonal imbalance? Is there a chemical imbalance? There could be all kinds of things. Is there abuse in another relationship your child has that is contributing to them not communicating? Are they being bullied? What's their social media game like? Yeah, I remember calling Salon in the middle of the night one night. I saw some social media stuff going on with my godson. This was years and years ago. And I was like, Salon, I know it's 2:00 in the morning, but I'm on social media. And Justin said this, in the business, be in the business, be all about the business. Now, he didn't know that I looked at his social media stuff, but I'm his godmother. So yes, I do. Yes, I do. Many of my godchildren, I have 10 of them, they don't know how behind the scenes I keep up with them. So moms, keep up, and I pray, and I see stuff, even with some of my goddaughter, I see stuff, I don't say anything right away, I pray, and then I'll just reach out to check on them, talk to them, see what's going on with them, but I don't confront them necessarily with the things that I see. But I use that as information that I need to be even more intimately involved in them knowing that I'm there. So don't be frustrated, moms. Don't be frustrated, daughters. Just be present. Be present. So we are wrapping up. This has been an awesome time. We are here for the Breakfast at Tiffany's after flow. You're welcome to stay on. I had a few more questions to just think about. Maybe if we can just do a round robin of like a 30-second answer. I'm going to start with you, mom, my mom. What advice do you give for mothers and daughters that are struggling with forgiveness?
Patience, number one. Keep the communication going. Be transparent about it. We're not perfect. Remember that God says, if you don't forgive, your prayers are hindered. So if you want to move forward, you've got to work on forgiving. Think about why you're not forgiving. Is it really that bad? It could be, you could say, yeah, it really is that bad, but nothing under the sun is so horrible that you can't forgive. And remember, unforgiveness hinders you from moving forward.
Awesome. Vidi, how can daughters establish boundaries with their mom without offending their mom?
Honestly, I think just like a simple conversation. Like, I feel like even though it's important for moms to be like really involved in like their daughters' lives, as they grow older, they want to be a little bit more independent. So I feel like just like a simple conversation, or like like not in a rude way or anything, but just like, oh hey mom, like I'm kind of growing up, I kind of want to do things a little like my way. And even though that might be a little hard for like the mom to like to accept, and like, you know, like my daughter is growing up, it's just kind of like one of those things where a simple conversation can really like help and like not like lead to like misunderstandings or like miscommunication.
Awesome. Salon, when should moms cut the strings and let their daughters be more independent?
I think it's a case by case basis. You have to be in, like I said, in the business, know your child, know what they are capable of, and you will see when it is time to like step back. Like I said, my daughter was 4 years old when she wanted to pick out her own outfits, but I felt that she was independent enough, responsible enough, even at 4, to wear things that were weather appropriate or something like that. And of course, I would jump in here and there, but as she got older, the measuring stick changes because when it comes to her independence, because I get to see how she's growing. So I've heard a long time ago, Oprah said that I think it was Gail who said, when your kids are young, you're their manager. And when they're adults, you're their advisor. So we have to know when it is time to manage and when it's time to advise.
Wow. Wow. Awesome. And Chitra, let me just ask, how can we keep the balance, right, of not putting pressure on our daughters to fulfill our unfulfilled dreams kind of as mothers?
I think there should never be any pressure. We are all human beings. We need to respect each other. We need to, love each other unconditionally. And this word unconditionally is so important in any parent-child relationship. There shouldn't be any conditions to love. It shouldn't be, if you're not successful, you're not worthy of my love. No, I think the most unsuccessful child deserves to come and get a hug from his or her mother and say, you know what, you did your best. And that's perfectly all right. So I feel, open communication, talking to them, being a part of their life, including them in their lives. What I can share with you is, in our household, all 4 of us are such strong communicators. We are always talking to each other. We're always telling each other. We're always texting each other and expressing ourselves. And that's what keeps us going as a family and as a mother and daughter
Yeah,
as
I'd
well.
also like to add that like in every like mother's eyes, I feel like their child is like successful in their own way. So I feel like instead of like, oh, like saying like a child not being like unsuccessful, like them not feeling that great about themselves, I feel like every mother just looks at their child a lot differently, and like through a different lens, which makes it like, them successful in their own way as well.
And I'd like to add, perception is reality. So the way we perceive our children, they turn out to be like that. So we have to start from early on saying, you know what, you're the best version of yourself, and I can see you growing and improving yourself. So we just let them be.
That's right. Awesome. This is a fun one. Anyone can jump in. Should daughters call their moms by their first name? What do you think?
Not my daughter, no.
I'm not a fan.
Mine either.
I'm not a fan.
Okay, and what about stepdaughters, bonus daughters? Do you think they should call their stepmom or bonus mom by their first name? Any thoughts?
Case by case.
Yeah, it's a case by case basis. Is what both parties are comfortable with, and with respect all around, respect to the biological mother, respect to the child. Like if it's a child and they're not comfortable calling a step parent mother, or they shouldn't have to.
Right.
So yeah, that's that. But if they want to, like I've had some of my friends' kids say, well, I want to call you mommy. And I said, well, what about auntie? Because I'm not your mom and I don't want your mom to be offended by you calling me mommy. So auntie, and I think auntie serves a whole great long list of purposes.
Yes. Yes. And I'm from the school of ballet, so you can always just add a miss in front of that. Always add a miss in front of it. When in doubt, add a miss.
Mhm.
Anyway, you all have been wonderful. I want to mention something though. We see these beautiful mothers and daughters on this screen. I'm going to include myself and my mom too. Yes. What you don't see are the dads that also are behind this. So I want to give a shout out also to Vishal Madan, who is the empowered father and husband in the Madan family. I want to give a shout out to Lorenzo Grooms, who's the empowered father and husband in the Grooms family. And of course, my dad, Pastor Bruce Williams, who's a board member of the Esther Project, so supportive of all we do. But men are some of the greatest partners that we can ever have in women's empowerment. So we don't want to leave them out. You all have been wonderful today. Thank you for your time. Amina, I see you have joined from Saudi Arabia. Oh my goodness. It is so, so wonderful to see you. And for those that missed our Gladiator Summit, you can watch it on our Facebook page. But Amina was one of our speakers. She's a women's empowerment advocate in Saudi Arabia and a future law student, I might add. All right, we still got our fingers crossed for that, Amina. So thank you, everyone. We're going to stop our recording and our Facebook Live and just stay for a few moments just to greet you in our afterflow. But if you are watching on Facebook Live, we thank you for watching. And Mom's going to close us out in her own way in some prayer and inspiration so that you can feel empowered in your day. But thank you for coming to Breakfast at Tiffany's. Mom?
Yes. You all are jewels. Just always remember you are valued, you are precious, you are loved, and you are worthy of it. There's no wrong way to be a mom. There's just always going from good to better to best. And just encourage yourself and love yourself. You are a Proverbs 31 woman. If you have the Christian faith, read that chapter this month, Proverbs 31. If you're not, it's in the Bible, the Old Testament. Proverbs 31, God says that you are precious jewels. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time. We thank you for this hour. We thank you for these precious mothers and daughters. We thank you for this precious audience, Lord God, from all over the globe. We thank you for Reverend Tiffany, God, for her vision. We thank you, Lord God, for pouring out now your spirit upon all of those who are listening and who will listen in the future. God, we thank you that the words today would be would be found in our hearts, Lord God, and that we would all be encouraged, Lord God, and that we would know that we are loved, that we would know that we are valued, that we will know that we have a purpose. And it is in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Tiffany, you are muted.
It would be helpful if I unmuted to say thank you to our Facebook Live family. We appreciate you joining as well. We're going to put this on YouTube. And for those of you that are on our mailing list, you'll get the link. But please subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, and you'll get all of our recordings automatically. God bless. You are strong and beautiful. And you are Esther. You're the queen of your purpose.